Sup chat, my name's Dev. I'm going to show you how to run Sekiro with 0 hits very goodly. I don't really know how to do intros, but yeah, pretty much we're going to be going through, I did this, I recorded like a bunch of clips and stuff for this run. Like my last guide I wasn't like super proud of altogether, just because like it didn't showcase a whole lot. I think I explained things alright, but I didn't go like fully in depth in the move sets and whatnot. So I'm wanting to do a redo. So there's a few plans for this. What I want to do initially is I wanted to record like every possible attack you could do, or every possible attack a boss could do in the most consistent way to actually go through the game. So like without any crazy skips or anything, just going through consistently, nothing crazy, and it was still sub 40 minutes. So like you can get sub hour, even sub 50, sub 40 very easily. And there's also certain strats you could stray away from. Like I'm sure there's some things that you guys would find advanced or that I would be like, no, not so much, but it just all comes with experience. But pretty much this guide has, I don't know, like I think I wish I counted. There's so many attack clips. So pretty much there's going to be, before every fight, I'm just going to play like every clip or every attack that the boss can do before the fight. So you can see all of them, and then you could just like skip past if you know the moves already and you're just like wanting to see how the fight plays out, or if you need to come back and reference it, or whatever you need to do. I'm pretty excited about it. I want to be proud of this one because the last one I was not, and I've seen people enjoy it and say it's been useful, but I also want to have one that's like actually good versus people, you know, like my friends being like, "Oh yeah, this was really good. It helped me a lot." So, let's just get straight into it. So, you're just gonna start a new game, you're just gonna jump through the tutorial, just willy-nilly. You'll get shot every now and then, it's honestly not that big of a deal, it's like 20 seconds. I tried to make this video higher quality as well. It's a little bit laggy at the start, but it evens out, like, within 30 seconds, not even. It's just a little bit framey, because I boosted the graphics and bitrate and whatnot. Yeah, you're just jumping through tutorial. There's really nothing special here. Little key notes if you need to see my controller button presses and whatnot. You look at the bottom left. There's no other real overlays, I don't think. Like I said, the biggest importance with this is going to be like all of the boss attacks that they can do. And those attacks were something else. Trying to bait out some of those attacks. I spent like 30 minutes trying to do one, I think. But you'll come in here and you're immediately going to talk to Kuro. But the interesting thing about Kuro is, or not just Kuro, but the dialogue in this game in particular, is that you want to make sure you have subtitles off because you can skip dialogue. So like as soon as you get the gourd and you hear the ding, you can press skip. If you go to turn the subtitles off, you'd be able to do that. If you have the subtitles on, you won't be able to. So just make sure you turn your subtitles off. Unless you don't want to do dialogue skips and you're completely content without it. It's just a lot faster. And by a lot faster, I mean like a lot faster. At least, I mean, just like Kuro just gets really annoying. So I mean, however you want to deal with that. Just run past Yamauchi, pick up these ashes on the right. And sprint through. There was a couple of mishaps in this run. I think I forgot my attack power one time. I forgot the ashes in Gyoubu's arena or something like that I had to go back and pick up, but other than that, nothing too severe. I had to redo Ape, so I'll have to overlay that on top of the actual fight in this run, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. So you just jump through here. It's faster to jump than just walk, I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure speedrunners do it, so I just do it. There's going to be more in-depth, there's going to be a more in-depth showcase on Genichiro's moveset at the timestamp in the top left. So just, if you want to skip to that to see his moveset, if not, and you already know it for the most part, you can just watch. This is just how the fight plays out without Mikiri. But I also don't get Mikiri for, Genichiro 2 either. I don't get Mikiri until after Monkeys just because it's faster. I don't know if I actually have that move recorded or not, but if you want to do the fast method of this attack, it's called floating passage. Pretty much. Sorry, I'm jitter clicking. Hold on, does he... Yeah. So he'll come over to your left side, and that's how you know he's doing it, and then you'll parry the first 3 attacks, like this. And then you'll dash to the right, attack him once, and then dash to the right again. Most people run away from it, but I like the combo. I think it's the most fun move out of his whole moveset, so I just parry it. It just adds more variety into the run. Which I enjoy because I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah, like I said, there's going to be more in-depth explanations and movesets and whatnot. Not necessarily explanations, just like the showcase of the moveset. If something needs explained, I'll explain it, like if it's tricky, but if not, and it's pretty like intuitive to understand, then I'll probably just let the clip play out without any voice overlay. Yeah, so you just jump through here, grapple up, grab this wall. If you see me holding LT on my controller, by the way, that's my sprint button, and I have grapple on circle. That's the only keybinds I've changed. I find it more comfortable, so I don't have to use claw. So pretty much you're just beelining straight to Ogre. You're going to pick up gotchins along the way, though. And those are the only gotchins you're going to use throughout the run. That's only 3. You use 1 for Ogre, 1 for folding screen monkeys, and 1 for Gunfort. So they're just right here. And then you can run off to the left and just do a little hip hop. And then jump up to grapple that. You can also grapple from the branch down below next to the gotchins, but that's a little bit more advanced, so I didn't include it in this run. I mean, you can watch other runs that I've done that isn't sword only, though, if you want to see that. I'm pretty sure I'd do it in almost all of them, I think. Important note here is there's this red flag right here. This one. This spot right here is very important because you're gonna sprint up, but these 2 guys aren't gonna aggro to you because whenever you sprint up to this flag, you're going to jump at the base of it and just jump towards Ogre, and these guys won't aggro. I've had somebody tell me that they don't aggro anyway, but I don't believe that's true. And here you're just going to immediately attack him 3 times, and then for your 4th hit, you're going to strafe to the right, or to the left, sorry, his right. You're going to strafe to the left and then around his back. It's much easier than it sounds. To just guide your hits along the side of him. And he'll always open with that attack, so it's not like scary or anything. And then you just kind of attack to his back. If he turns in front of you, just wait a second. Because he has a very fast grab that he can do. But all of his attacks are very straightforward. I'm not going to go into like in-depth explanations on them. But pretty much it's just like a slam, a grab, a grab, a grab, and like a sumo wrestler dive, pretty much. You just dash them to the right. That's all you do. You can dash them like any direction, really. Even backwards if you want, I'm pretty sure. Although that's not like the most optimal thing in the world, just because the grabs have kind of decent range. Especially the quick grab, you can dodge to the back. Like, you can even just, like, sway your attack backward, and you can avoid it that way. But it just depends on, like, what weapon moveset you're in. Or, like, what weapon sequence you're in your moveset. You can either land on that branch. Here. So, I do a jump off of this, and then a wall jump. You can also grapple this branch, sprint off, and then grapple down there. This is just faster. Just by a little bit, but it adds up. And you're just going to sprint straight up to this wall, and you're going to immediately grab onto it, and you're just going to tap your left stick. If you watch my controller, I'm tapping it instead of holding it because it moves you just a little bit faster, and that's how we skip going to the palanquin on the right. So I'm just tapping my stick. And then whenever I get to the edge of this icicle right here is whenever I jump across. So like this left edge of this last icicle. And then I just sprint around to the right of the palanquin, into the wall, and then grapple. And he won't ever hit you. He'll just go right through you here. Like it's not a question. Now most people, whenever they're running with items, instead of sword only, they pick up this Akko. But since I've been running sword only, I actually don't like picking up that Akko because a lot of the times you'll just get shot in the back unless you take like 30 seconds extra to like crouch underneath the hut and kill the guy in the like the top floor and whatnot. So I just skip it because it's not like that big of a time investment in the Gyoubu fight to just not use it. And here I miss those, pick those up. I go back for them I think like after Genichiro. But if you just pick them up here, you obviously won't have to do that. Because you want 6 total ashes for this run. So you open him with 6, or actually, here's all of the attacks. I think it's like 10 or so. So there's 8 showcases of attacks. So enjoy. Alright, welcome back. So now we're going to go into the fight and see how it actually plays out just in an actual fight versus just the clips. So you'll open with 6 hits, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you'll chase after him. And he'll either do a left swipe or a right swipe. You already know these moves. This is just how I'm kind of moving around him to make sure I'm in the hitbox of the attacks. And yeah, like I said, if you have any questions on anything, or not, like I said on my last guide, if you have any questions on anything at all, please hit me up on Discord. I'll have my Discord server link in the description, and I'll have my, you can just add me on Discord through that, or you can ask the question directly in the server. I don't mind either or. But just a few notes before we get into phase 2. So Gyoubu staggers in 9 hits, and that doesn't include like the spear throw Toby move where he goes Toby. So not including that move and not including the 6 hits on the opener, he staggers in 9. And if you deflect him for his final hit, like as the death blow plays out, then his stagger meter actually doesn't reset. And if you hit him with an R1, then it does reset. So ideally, you want to kill him with an R1 instead of a deflect, because then you can get the full 9 hits in before he staggers, so he doesn't run away more. But if you happen to kill him on a deflect, then it's fine. Obviously, like it's not that big of a deal. It's just a time investment. And he'll always run away from you after a lasso attack, or if he gets staggered. So the triple lasso where he like spins it around his body, he'll always run away after that, and if he gets staggered, he'll always run away. So that's kind of what I was talking about with the 9 hit thing. So he just doesn't run away constantly. That's pretty much it for notes on that. We can rewatch the fight. Sorry, I'm a little bit sloppy. But it's just 6 hits to open, and you just sprint after him. And then like there's really not much to explain after you've already seen the moves. It's my favorite fight in FromSoft, just altogether. It's such a majestic fight. I love it so much. People clown on me for it all the time, but I love it more than any fight. Like, people talk about Cinder, Nameless King, Gale. Nah, dude, Gyoubu all the way. Gyoubu all the way. And he's like 7 minutes into the run. It's great. It's perfect. Some people have a very rocky relationship with this boss, but I'll always love you, Gyoubu. You can do a jump here too, by the way, for an aerial hit. I always thought that was funny. I don't know if it counts towards your stagger or not, so it's probably not optimal. You just chase after him again. Anytime he runs away, you can chase after him, and he tends to do like a kayak starter or like a swipe. So sometimes he just keeps running, and that's what they call Gyoubuing or horsing. He just runs in a circle for 45 minutes, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. But yeah, hopefully the attacks in the clips and whatnot helped with understanding that fight a bit more. I hope I explained a little bit to make it make sense. But you'll just come up to Tengu here, and then you'll just hold down on the D-pad and spam A. If you hold down, it automatically defaults to refuse. It clicks it skips the menu faster than you can spam. So then you just hit refuse because you don't want to do the quest line because you have to go kill a rat, and it's just for a couple extra skills that aren't very important, especially for SHURA. You'll rest at this idle, and you'll use your memory from Gyoubu, so you get more damage. Bull, I'm not going to showcase any attacks for as well, because it's pretty straightforward. He has like 2 attacks that he can do, maybe 3 if you're lucky. And by lucky, I mean like it's just a rare attack. You run up to the right of this guy, just R1 him 3 times, 2 times if you don't get a block. Sprint off to the left here and do a wall jump. Get up there and then do another wall jump to get to the Akos. There's 2 right there. You'll use 1 for Bull and 1 for Genichiro out of that set. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about my item order. That's probably important. So my item order is Gachins, and then I have Akos, and then I have Fistful of Ash, and then I have the Homeward Bone. I've always liked this because later in the game, you completely run out of Gachins and you run out of Akos because you get Yashirikus, which just make the Akos obsolete. It's because it's a 50% boost instead of 25. So I switched the Gachins for Yashirikus, and then because we're fighting Monk and menuing is important because it's just like a fast set of movements, I use Snap Seeds here and then have the Fistful of Ash immediately after. And then the Homeward Bone in the last slot, just because. And this is a pretty tricky line, to be honest. What I do is I just run up to the right side of this, and then I just jump across over this like wall angle here, and that avoids the aggro of these 2 guys over here. So you just do a little hop, and they don't aggro for some reason. I don't know, but if you're too far left, they'll aggro. And you sprint up to this wood, use an Akko, and then he'll aggro. You'll kill both of them if you stand at that wood. That's that 3rd attack I was talking about if you're lucky. It's just a rare opener. But what you're wanting to do is get in front of his face as he's drifting. Like as he runs away, he'll be drifting. And you want to queue up this short range uppercut attack. There's a couple things to note though. If you're too far away from him as he's drifting, he's gonna do a long range, which isn't going to put him into the loop that you want to do, and he's just gonna keep running, or do like random attacks, which isn't good. But if you just stick to this, and you're just constantly in front of his face, because he does not have a hitbox here. That's what I think a lot of people struggle with Bull. I mean, I'm also gonna link my buddy's guide to Bull. This exact strat, I'm going to link his guide, Sense, if you know who that is. I'm going to link that in the description as well. Because it's very good. Much better than I can explain it. But really all the loop entails, here I'll show you. You just dash to the right, or to his right, your left. You stay on this side of him. You stay on his right side always. Never be on his left side because you won't be able to get headshots and the angles get tricky. But if you stay on his right side, and like next to his crotch a little bit, this attack won't hit you. And then you could just hit him in the head right here. And then just walk backward again. You can even do an R1 to angle like in that way, so you're already about to do that, so it's just more damage. And then whenever he staggers, poke him in his head again. And you just do this little loop. And then he'll break out and do that triple head swipe. But then you just chase after him, like I said. Get in front of his face. Like I said, he does not have a hitbox here, so just be in his face, ready to go, and then just dash, get on that side of him, and just poke his head. He does the head shake again, which kind of sucks, but just get in front of his head again, dash, strafe behind, hit him in his head. It's not that difficult. It can be tricky to get down, but when you get it down, it's just like the easiest thing in the world. Trust me. You'll just sprint up straight through here. If you want to use your homeward bone, you can. You can, I mean, like, it's not, if you, so that idol automatically unlocks. Sorry. That idol automatically unlocks, so if you want to use your homeward bone and go get skills, or homeward idol, and go get your skills like Makiri counter, etc., you can go get that book now. I get it after Genichiro, though. So what I do here is as soon as I land, I jump to the corner over here. And then I crouch. Like, I buffer the crouch, which is like doing it before I'm landing. I input it, so it's just automatically doing it. And then I stand on the very edge, wait for this triangle of aggro to fill, and it goes full yellow. And then I drop down. You have quite a bit of time to drop down and just grapple up and stay on this left side. And what that does is this guy is going to aggro over here, or he's looking at you like over here. Let's say my mouse is him. He's looking at you, and then he's gonna see that, and he's gonna walk over this way to investigate, and then you're gonna slip behind his side so he doesn't see you, because he's already walking in the other direction to investigate. See? Pretty clever. The guy on the right always aggroes, but he can't hit you. And if you stay left, this Wu guy cannot hit you either. If you stand in the middle or too far off to the right, he can. So just always stay left. And then this guy, you're going to want to run straight at him and then curve to the right. If you curve to the right early, he can throw a shuriken at you, which isn't good. So running straight at him triggers that whistle attack. You just grapple up here, rest at that idol to reset the enemies. And then we're going to learn backside dojo skip, which is tricky, but you can get it down really fast. So you'll get in this windowsill, and you're going to sprint into this side right here. You're going to sprint into it, and then you're going to curve your jump out and onto the ledge. Like that. And you're going to curve, and you're going to wall jump off of this, and then curve on top of this. Like that. And then grab that. Here, I'll play that again without any pauses. It's tricky to learn, but it gets very easy. But here's the clips for Genichiro. Here's all of his possible attacks. Again, if I see anything of interest that I don't think I recorded, I'll mention it, but I don't think I did. So yeah. Welcome back. And here is Genichiro. So just before we start, there's a few notes that I do want to mention. At 30% posture, every time he backsteps, he will follow up with an arrow barrage, which is the scariest attack he can do, because he fires 4 arrows, and they can just catch you a lot in like weird directions. So the best way to deal with it, I have found, is to just always hold forward on the analog stick. Like when I'm fighting him, I'm just always holding forward. So then you can keep up with him as he backsteps, and you can R1 to completely cancel that attack out. And I don't get Mikiri because it's faster and more comfortable for me, but if you'd like to, either at that idol that we just rested at or the one after Bull, you can go back to the Sculptor and get the skill book from him because you'll have enough points, and you can get Mikiri counter. Lightning reflections are a hit, or deflections, I don't remember the exact phrasing, but they are a hit. I don't know. I think I disagree with that a little bit. But per Team Hitless, it is a hit. Because you always take damage. Even, if you use Mist Raven from Harada Estate, though, like if you really want to do lightning reversals and be allowed for Team Hitless, you can. You just have to go into Harada Estate and get the Mist Raven from that. And yeah, it even counts as a hit if you do the midair deflect with that skill. And the one more really important thing to mention is that you should never, ever, 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 ever head stomp him or get in the habit of head stomping him whenever he has armor. So in Genichiro 1, in the tutorial, or this Genichiro, do not head stomp him until phase 3, because that's whenever he doesn't have armor. Because if you don't, or if you do head stomp, sometimes he can just do like a counter attack and immediately hit you out as soon as you land, and you won't be able to like attack him and keep in the flow of combat, and you'll just be dead. Unless you can somehow land and notice it on time and deflect it, which is not optimal. That's pretty much all I have to say. Here's the fight. I just sprint to the left. That arrow just gets dodged. So I'm like always holding forward. So whenever he backsteps, I can just cancel the arrows. Since I can't dash right there, I just, what you do is, I don't know if it's in the clips or not, but you unlock and you dash backwards and sprint around. The unlock is very important because in this game, I should have explained this at Ogre, but in this game, you get more iframes whenever you're unlocked versus locked on if you're not doing a straight dash. So when you're locked on and you do a straight dash, if you want to like test in your own gameplay or whatever, if you're locked on and you do a straight dash, and you're locked on and you do a side dash, like to the left, to the right, you'll see that your dash is a little bit shorter because you do like a side step versus like an actual dash. So if you're unlocked, you do a full dash movement instead of a little side step. And it's just like a difference of a few frames, but it becomes really important for certain attacks like that, because if you just like backstep away without unlocking, you'll just get clipped by the attack because you don't have enough iframes. You just strafe that arrow and come right back to him. Very important thing to also mention is that initiative is super, 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 super important. If you are out here and he's over here, 9 times out of 10, unless you know his whole moveset, he's going to hit you. You always want to be in these bosses' faces non-stop, always 100% aggression, because if you're not, you're going to have a bad time. So you always, it's the complete opposite of Souls. Like if you're coming from no-hitting Souls, you always want to be in their face. You don't want to be out and about. You want to be right there, like directly on top of them. Always just pushing, pushing, pushing. So that's what I mean right here. Just always holding forward so you can cancel that. Because he backsteps, he's on 30% posture, he does an arrow. If you have Mikiri, you can deflect that slam. But I just dash around it. Just because I find it more comfortable to fight all Genichiros the same. I don't use Mikiri on any of them. Even the one before Ishin. Even though I have it. And here, this is, if you don't have Mikiri, this is how you deal with this. If you have Mikiri, just Akko and do the Mikiri counter. But if you don't, you'll pop the Akko and you'll hold back on the left stick which then you'll dodge just dodge it. It'll completely miss you. And hold back until after the attack lands. If you just hold back and wait for the animation to end, he can still hit you. So just hold back and wait till your character starts moving, the attack hits the ground, and then curve back and hit him. Now you can head stomp him because it's phase 3 and he doesn't have armor. That lightning, you can just attack directly underneath it. It's completely comfortable. Just always notice how every time I dash, I'm not locked on. It's super, super important. Yeah, that's Genichiro. Super fun boss, everybody's favorite. Not mine though. Gyoubu reppin'. To the day I die. And that's on God. Yeah, now we're gonna be headed to Roberto. So first we gotta do some dialogue with Kuro, which is where those dialogue skips that I mentioned before in the tutorial really come in handy. So just sprint down here, jump over the staircase if you want for a quick little time save, because it's based. And you'll hold down on the D-pad again, spam through this dialogue. And then after that's done, just press start, and then spam through this to pick up the item, and then press start again. Walk over to the incense burner, press start, walk up to him, press start. And then that's done, and you can come over here, use your memory. And then go talk to him and skip one more time. And then you're ready to talk to Ishin. Now, Ishin will not show up here if you haven't done the dialogue with Tengu after Gyoubu. Because, chat, they're the same person. Oh my god, dude, can you believe it? Holy. Yeah, you'll talk with him, you'll do the first dialogue option. I guess it's the only one at the moment. And then after that one's done, it opens up a second one. You'll just keep spamming through this. Do the second one, press start, and then bone to temple. Now after this, if you've already picked up the book for Makiri counter or whatever, then you can just go straight to Ashina Castle. Here, this is where I pick up the skill book. So I can get Makiri and mid-air combat arts and whatnot. You just skip twice. So Roberto, I'm also not going to go super in-depth on with the attacks, because a lot of his attacks are just shown. Here, this is where I forgot, or this is where I noticed I forgot these ashes, so I just go and pick them up. Roberto's attacks are pretty straightforward. He just pretty much has a shove, an overhead, and then 2 horizontal attacks, and then the big berserk combo. That's all it is. So it's not like super in-depth moveset or anything. Nothing like Genichiro, that's for sure. These dogs will never hit you, I promise. Just sprint. Don't even think about them. So here there's going to be Akos in the boat on the left. I believe there's 2 of them. And you'll kill this guy on the right. And just swim through. Now here is something important. You're always going to want to come up to the right side of this rock. Because if you come to the left, it's going to be really hard to get up. And I believe this guy can shoot you. It's just the terrain is weird. So just come up to the right side of it. And then that bullet will always miss. Either it'll miss you completely or it'll hit a rock on your way up. this, it'll just hit this. Just depends on whenever he shoots. It won't ever shoot you in the water unless you're super slow though. You just chill here. Just gotta wait. Those two guys will never come up here. This line is super straightforward. You just run right through the middle. Just jump down over that branch and then just take the most obvious pathway. I've never been hit by these guys in 4,000 hours of playing this game. There's probably like a 0.0001% chance, but it won't happen more than once, I can promise you that. Just pick up that Akko. I think that one you don't need at all, but just nice to have safety. You'll curve left down past this. You'll just take this diagonal pathway up into the branch. Now sometimes there will be an arrow that shoots you, not shoots you, but it'll go past you, like fly by right here. It looks scary, I know, but I've never been hit by it, so I've just always taken that line. It always just barely misses me. I feel like I'm in the Matrix. This line's also a little bit, movement tricky. It's not like actually difficult once you get it down, but it's just, it takes a second to understand. So you'll do a wall jump off of this wall and you'll grapple up here. And you'll grapple up there. And you'll do a jump off of this wall to get up here. And you'll just sprint around over this guy. And then around to the left side of this rock. And then jump up. And then pop an Akko. And open with an R1. And that's his whole moveset right there. That's all the attacks he can do. In this combo. That slam is not a hit, according to Team Hitless. I guess he has a really, really long range move if you're far away, but you should never see that. There's a lot of moves that the bosses have that I don't include because you just will never see them because of how the combat works in this game. A lot of combat in this game is very forced. You very much so manipulate movesets to show in your favor. So if you keep aggression on a boss, half of their moveset just won't come out because it just depends heavily on what you're doing and what the flow of the combat feels like. Because if you're being like super slow and passive, they're gonna like completely get aggressive. They're gonna destroy the ever-living shit out of you. But if you are keeping aggression on them, then they can't really do that. So they're gonna have a much more restricted moveset. And this part here is super important. You're always gonna want to stay on the right side of this, because up here is a few monks, and if you stay over here, that can trigger their line of sight. And they can curve around the wall, and that'll make your life a living hell. So stay to the right side of this idol, where I just slashed, and then just sprint down. And then stay on the left side of this roof. Don't cross over the middle. Grapple there. Wall jump and grab that. Grapple up. Wall jump and grapple, and then grapple that branch and use a Gachin. And then just do a sprint and then a little jumpy. You're just gonna take this path. You just grapple, 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 grapple. You don't open that door because the spear monks can hit you, which isn't fun. If you stay close to this guy, he'll do that little spinny. You could just run past and he won't ever hit you. That's the guy that I was talking about that curves the corner. Just do an immediate dash back for the first monkey and do a slash, and he's dead. And that guy's just going to be patrolling. If you have the gotching on, he doesn't see you. If you have the gotching on, he will, and he'll run away. This guy also doesn't see you. This one does, and he runs away from you, but that's alright, because we catch him off guard anyway. Just wait here for him to start moving. And then once he gets up to the top platform, that's when you grapple up and just kill him. If you go too fast, you can knock him off early, and he'll fall back behind backward, and you'll have to chase after him a whole different path, which is not very fun. You'll come in here and you'll just spam through her dialogue, and then you'll skip the cutscene, and you'll get the Mortal Blade. And I forget to use my attack power here, but I get it like as soon as I go to the next idol. But you'll use your attack power here, or memory, and then get these skills, Makiri counter, and then the top row, except for the last two. Here, let me pause it so you can see. So you'll get this one, you'll get this one, this one, this one, and this one. These two don't matter, neither does that one. You can get Shinobi Eyes by the end of the run, I believe, which gives you more Makiri damage for Emma and Ishin. But I don't, because I don't like run and slide. But if you're a fan of run and slide, then go for it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I just don't like it. But you can get that, I think, by the end of the run. I think after Monk, I think you can. Equip Mortal Draw. Pick up this key. And I'm like, ah, shit, I forgot my memory. And then I come back. I think I'm also gonna link a lot of low damage kills that I've done for this run. Like I've done New Game 7, Attack Power 1, Demon Bell, No Kuro Charm, Hitless kills on, I think, every boss in this run except Ape. But I'm sure I can find, like, probably Victors or something that I can rip off of for the sake of just having it in the description. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. But this line is a little bit interesting because I've never seen anybody else do it this way, but I always get shot by this gunner, and I just ended up not caring about the time loss here. So what I do is I just sprint into this little root here, this grapple point, and then I just jump off of that. This guy won't see you, and then as you're falling down, you're gonna wait for it to go off screen up top, and then you're going to grapple. Don't grapple too early or he'll see you. But if you wait until it goes all the way down, you'll be too low for him to see you. So as it goes off screen, grapple up. Hit him 3 times, he's dead. Grapple to that branch, to that root, and then pick up those ashes. And now you should have 6 for Monk. Now it's time for the infamous gun fort. I promise it's not as scary as people make it seem. It's like at least 99.9% consistent. I believe Fetchery has a guide, a very in-depth, like 40-minute guide for gun fort if you want to watch that. You'll just grapple to this branch, use a gotching, sprint to the left side of that, or jump to the left side of that tree. Sprint along here, take this middle path. Jump down, grapple the base of that root. The left side of that grass patch right there. So you'll actually jump right about here instead of out here, because whenever you jump next to an edge, you like kind of stop a little bit before you actually jump. Like it takes a while for your character to jump off of it. So if you jump early, you won't have that happen. And you'll see that come up here in a little bit too. So you'll jump just a bit early before that ledge, which I use this like brown line where the concrete meets the snow. Or stone meets the snow, rather. And just jump off of that. And the base of this. And then I go to the left side of this grass patch. And then I curve, and then the base of that. Do a dash, and then jump up there. Go to this torch, jump off to the left, grapple up here. Crouch, walk into the wall. Or you dash into the wall, and then you crouch, sorry. And you'll walk until your feet meets the second plank right here. Here's the first, this is the second. And then you'll full sprint until you reach this line right here. The last brown line before the hole in the wall. Or before the hole in the bridge. And then you'll jump off to the right. Go all the way down and grapple like you did the last grapple. Getting the ashes. Or it's not the last one, but you know what I mean. You'll wait until it goes off screen and then you'll grapple up. And you'll do a little jump off of this wall and then curve your camera back to grapple this. So just in case any stray shots. Now, I've never had like a situation where I haven't done the jump and I get shot. Especially with the gotching on. But just in case, because I've seen it happen to certain people, it's always best to just do it. You don't lose any time or anything because you got to sit here anyway. And you just wait for these yellow triangles to go away. It takes a second. It's boring. You just grapple up there, base of that root. Wall jump and a grab. The back wall, grab it. Shimmy over, kill him. Shimmy twice over to that. And then, or to the wall. And then just go back up the same. Grab this ledge. Kill him. And you'll just sprint straight up through the middle. And then you'll hang on that ledge and kill the next gunner up here. And then there's two options for snap seeds. You can either pick this one up, which there's a gunner facing straight at you, so I don't do it that way. Or there's ones in Mibu Village that you can grab, which is the ones that I prefer. Or not Mibu Village, the Depths. So I always stay along the right side of this wall. Don't cross over here because you'll aggro quicker. So stay along the right side and then just drop down. He tends to walk past. Sometimes, very, 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 very rarely, he'll try and kill you. You'll sprint up to this wooden plank right here, and you'll use an Akko. And you'll go in. And I would say it's best to open with an R1, but I actually prefer this strat more recently. Just walking up to him. And then you parry the first 9. And you do a dash, 2 MDs, and then an R1. And then for phase 2, you'll jump up first without any direction, and then as you're mid-jump, you'll curve to the left a little bit. If you hold left and then jump, you're going to fly over here. But if you jump up first and then curve to the left, it'll be a lot easier to manage your movement. You'll just curve to his butt a little bit so he's facing the wall. So, like, he can't, like, roll backward, pretty much. You'll hit him with... Oh, also, sorry, stupid mistake. The MD, the reason why you get mid-air combat, or mid-air combat arts, the skill, is because jumping MDs do, like, 50% more damage because of a bug that the developers just don't care about. So if you do a jumping mortal draw, I think it treats it as an empowered mortal draw. So you just get like a big boost of damage. So that's why you always jump whenever you MD in this game. Like there's very, very, very rare moments where you MD standing still. But let me restart the fight, sorry. Kind of overloaded you with information there. She'll go in, stand in his face, parry 9. Dash to the last one. 2 MDs, R1. Curve to his ass, put him in the wall. 2 MDs, and then a floor MD. And then he's dead. Takes a little bit of practice, but you'll get it down. There's not very much attacks to go over clip-wise with that, because it's just always the same thing. It's a script. You just stay to the right of that snake, and then just stay to the right over here as well. And if you ever are confused on where to go, I find it super funny. The developers finally put directions in a video game. There's an arrow right here, pointing you where to go. Right there. So just go follow that arrow. To the right side of his head. Right side. And just straight through. This is the most important idol in the game. It saves you like 10 minutes. Especially if you're fast. So this is the last idol we actually grab in the game. You can, if you want to be safe, what you can do... Sorry, I went back a little too far. You can jump on the inside of the wall up here. Hold on. So there's 2 ways to do this jump. You can jump on the inside of the wall here, which is safer because you don't have an impending fall on the underside of you. But it takes a little while longer sometimes to get the jump because it is finicky with how the like wall is, like the way it's like built. So I just jump off the side here and grapple up. Although if you miss that jump, then you're just dead. And then you free fall. This grass patch here, like the very like start of that grass patch, you'll jump. And there's gonna be a grapple down here that you can grapple to, right there. And then you'll jump off of that one and grapple this one. You can grapple that one just completely instead, but I have just face planted before doing that, so I just don't prefer it. You just sprint along the underside here, jump past this lizard. Jump over there. This guy won't hit you. There's a little, like, cave dweller. And here, this is an important thing to mention as well. Like, right in this wall, there's, like, somebody who can poke you. But if you're not just standing directly in front of him, he can't hit you. This jump can be tricky. But what you want to do is you never... What I was mentioning earlier in Gun 4 is whenever you're, like, sprinting up on an edge, right? Your character stalls for a second before it actually jumps if you're like right on the edge because it tries to save you from falling to your death, but it's a hindrance and no hit most of the time. Unless you're like fighting Ishin or something where you can actually fall out of the arena where it's a big help. But in this specific scenario, it kind of sucks. So you want to jump just a bit before the actual edge so you don't get that delay, and then you'll curve right and hit this grapple. If you hit that delay on that edge, the snake is going to hit you. So just make sure to practice this jump a little bit. There is a slower strat that you can do that I think Dinos and Guile does. I could be wrong. But there's a slower strat where you can ninjutsu the monkey, which is like the normal, I think, casual strat. Where he like goes up into this hut and then calls the snake over and then you could grapple. But that's much, much, much slower, and I just prefer this jump. It's a little bit scarier, but it's consistent when you get it down. There's also confetti right here if you want more R1 damage, but I don't grab it just because it's not necessary. You already get a 50% boost with Yashirikus. Just grapple there. Grapple these 3 trees, and then this roof. And then just jump straight on his head, kill him. And then buffer that crouch. Like, crouch as soon as you can, and then just walk to the corner. If you're too slow on that crouch, like, if I were to stand straight up, see how his, like, alert is going up? If I were to stand straight up, then he will aggro. So the reason I crouch is to make sure he can't see me. So as soon as I crouch, his aggro starts like standing still. Either that or going down. I'm not sure what it is. Either way, he's not noticing me. And then I just grapple across. And then death blow him. Immediately Akko, do a jump MD. Parry whatever attack he gives you. There's 3 attacks he can do. He can either do the grab, he can either do the fast attack from the right side, or the slow attack from the left side. The grab is the biggest one you need to worry about, because it's a little bit tricky to get the deflect timing down. And he doesn't immediately die off of the last MD, so you have to get another attack in. But it's still consistent nonetheless. It's just a little bit trickier of a deflect. I get the grab, and then I do 1R1 and do MDs. And then he's dead. I found that to be consistent. I don't know if it 100% is. Ideally, I think if you get the grab, I think deflect the grab, and then you do 2 MDs, and then just deflect the next attack, and it should be just as fine. If you don't want to do the R1 before. I've never had an issue with it, though. Don't grab this idol, it's not necessary. You'll do a little parkour across these branches. 4 grapple points. And then stay to the right side here. Where you drop down, there's going to be a set of Yashirikus. Super big. And then there's going to be 3 snap seeds on the right here. Those are going to be used for Corrupted Monk. And here's what we call the tree skip. You'll align your character with the edge of this, and then you'll jump just straight up, and then you'll like kind of drift into the wood, and then you'll just do another jump and you'll land right on it. And you just do a jump up there as well. This is probably the hardest boss in the game. I can't even showcase all of his attacks, so I'm not going to worry about it. You're just going to have to practice it. I'm sorry I'm kind of leaving you high and dry there, but I don't have the energy to fight that boss more than I need to. So you guys are going to just have to learn the moveset. Here, there's going to be a grass patch on the right side of this lantern. Right here, that you jump off of. I use visual cues for like everything, as you can tell. I believe you can jump off of this one as well, but I find this one to be more comfortable. And then you'll stick to the right side of this tree, and there's going to be a grapple point. And then you just sprint straight through here as well. Sometimes these guys can block your way, but you can just jump past. Most of the time they're on the left side though, so you could just keep sprinting. This guy, I promise you, he does not have a hitbox whenever his thing is midair. It only has a hitbox whenever it's on the ground, like it slams. It doesn't have a hitbox when it's midair, so this grapple is completely safe. And then you just drop down. Go for a little swim up to the bridge. Listen to Orin's tunes. And then I switch my inventory around to have Yashirikus, Snap Seeds, Ashes, and then Homeward Idol. Now this line will take a little bit of practice, but it's the fastest way to do it without going like absolutely speedrun crazy. So you'll go up to this set of like 3 lanterns right here. This like curvature, like this area here. And you'll cut in between them. And this is super important. This rock patch right here is the most important thing about this whole setup. If you are this side of the rock patch in that way, her cone of vision will see you. So she has like a cone of vision that goes this way. and that way. And if you are on this side of it, she will see you. So you want to stay on the left side of this rock patch at all times. You don't want to cut in the middle of it at all. So you want to stay on the left side of it, and then whenever you get up to it, you'll use a snap seed, another snap seed, you'll dash, third snap seed, and then 6 ashes as you're curving into the side of this staircase. And you'll back up into this pillar, do a jump, another jump, and then she's dead. Takes a little bit of practice, but it's consistent. There's other easier setups you can do with like firecrackers or something like that, but I don't like prosthetics, so I don't use it. But I believe Zephod's guide, I can also link that in the description. He uses prosthetics in his guide, which is what I learned off of like 2-3 years ago. And you just pick up the shelter stone and bone the last communed idol. And that's gonna put you right back at Riven Cave, which is the idol I said was important, and then you'll use your monk memory here instead of at her idol. Because then you'll have to teleport all the way back here instead of just boning back. Do the same little jump, and then you'll just go through the path of the monkeys. All you gotta do is just zip across, drop down here, jump over these two, stay to the left of these guys so you don't aggro all 60 of them, grapple the hand. And this is what I'm talking about, how like the character kind of stops moving whenever there's an edge. Like, see how I just didn't sprint off there? It's pretty huge. And this tree right here marks his cone of vision. If you are before the trunk of this tree, he won't see you. If you're after it, he will. So that's how you know if you're safe from being seen or not. You can stand like right up against it, I think, and he won't see you. But you'll stand up just before it, and you'll use a Yashiriku. And then this is where I need to cut over to a different clip for phase 1. Because I kinda messed it up because I'm not used to using Mortal Draw as much as I'd like. So I messed it up. That's my fault. I'll cut to a clip of where I get it correct, and then I'll voice over that. But yeah, so like I was saying, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come to the base of this tree, you'll yash, you're gonna jump to him as he turns to you, do 2 MDs after a jump, 2 hits. When this hand right here hits the ground, you'll do 5. When he's centered, do 2. Hand hits the ground, 5. 1, 2. And it's super simple loop. That's all there really is to it. There's not much more explaining. You won't ever see any attacks. That's just how it goes. It becomes a lot harder whenever you run something like Sword Only, but with Mortal Draw, he just instant staggers, so it's like not even an issue. Yeah, that's phase 1. It's nothing crazy, but it is a little bit tricky whenever you're first getting it down, because there's gonna be times where you're like, was I early? Was I late? But if you follow the movement that I did, it works pretty well. So here, there's a few notes that I got to mention. So what you'll do is for phase 2, whenever his right hand, I guess his left hand, your right side hand, grabs his head, you're going to buff with a Yashiriku. As soon as he grabs it. And you're going to do an R1. Just buffer the R1 straight out of the Yash. And then if he screams, just do an MD and you'll cancel it. Now the reason the scream gets canceled is because Mortal Draw deals 12 hits of stagger to Ape, and Ape staggers in 13, which is the reason you need that R1 in store. So you cannot cancel a scream unless you have one R1 in store. If I didn't R1 there, I'd just get hit by the scream because it just wouldn't get canceled. So having that R1 in store causes it to get canceled. It doesn't hit you. In this combo, you saw it in the clips before that I completely forgot to mention. I don't know. But you saw it in the clips before. This is a super easy combo. It's just 1, 2, 2 hits, dash to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, backstep, deflect, 1 MD. Now this is the tricky part. You're trying to get headshots. So, let me explain. After the backstep, you'll deflect. And then what you're going to do is you're going to stay locked on, and you're just going to jump up, and you're just going to do an MD. Just like normal, stay locked on. And then for the second MD, you're going to lock off, and you're going to look at the sky and do a jumping MD. And then you'll get a headshot, and he's dead. There's obviously multiple combos you can do. You saw the clips. But that is the most optimal and most common RNG that he can do, is a scream in that combo. Very, very fast fight. There's people that will swear by doing it with the spear. I don't understand why. It confuses me, but, you know, to each their own. I preach the MD strat because it works just so well. But you'll just bone the last commune after you pick up that, flower. Use your, memory. And then you'll just take this line. Jump over that guy. It's important to stay to the right here, so he doesn't see you early. So he always kind of is like starting to aggro. So stay to the right of that bridge. Swim twice. This is a Yashiriku sugar, and then you'll dive down. This fish right here won't hurt. It won't hit you. You'll grapple up. Grapple, grapple, and then you're gonna stand completely still. This guy's gonna grab his sword, and as he grabs his sword, you're safe to grapple. If not, he'll like land on your head and hit you. It's annoying. And you just become an actual ninja here. You'll grapple up to the top. And you're gonna sprint into this wall and out to the left. Grapple, and then you're gonna jump out into the left as well. So this throwing knife misses you. And you're just gonna come up to Owl and spam A. And here's all the clips and stuff for Emma and Ishin. I'll show you Emma first, and then I'll do Ishin before Ishin, obviously. But here's the clips. And here is the fight in motion. The very important thing is to just stand still and let her come to you. It's the most important thing that I can say. Really the only thing to say. Don't really need to walk forward towards her. You don't need to really push on her. She's aggressive just already, so she'll come to you. She is like different from other bosses in a sense where her moveset just kind of naturally falls in place with wherever you're at. So if you're at distance, she'll close it. And then here you'll just buff Yashiriku immediately. And then you'll R1 him out of this lunge. And you'll just keep steady aggression on him. So whenever you dash into him, and like, let's say he backs away, right? Anytime he's in an idle animation, he has a chance to just completely dodge your attack and do a side shuffle. And do a slash or a grab, which you saw in the clips, and you just have to deal with those as you saw. You just keep heavy aggression on him. If you're not aggressive on him, it's not going to go well. The fight's going to be a lot longer. It's going to be a lot more painful. I promise it's worth it. And it's just MD spam. And that's GG's. That's all it is. Like it's really not bad. I promise. It's really not bad. It's not a bad run. It's not hard. It's less than 40 minutes long. It's probably one of the easiest on Team Hitless. Now whenever you add restrictions, it becomes a lot harder. But just as like a base any percent, it's not nearly as hard as something like Dark Souls 3. For example, or I mean even DS1. It's just it's much easier than most of Team Hitless's variety of games. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Sekiro for you. I want to remake my Immortal Severance guide as well eventually. This run I think was 35 minutes. That runs like closer to an hour, probably like 54, I think, somewhere in there. But I find guides really fun. I want to keep improving. I want to edit a little bit better. I want to get better at explaining things. That's really difficult for me to do. So I hope I explained it decent. If you have any questions, look in the description. I've got my Discord in there. I've got like kill examples. I've got Zephod's guide. I've got Licence's Bull guide. I've got a bunch of different resources you guys can check out to make sure that you can get this run. I'll also post the Team Hitless Discord as well, which is where we all hang out, that people do Hitless runs and stuff. So yeah, super fun community. I wish you luck on Sekiro No Hit, and I expect to see you guys on Pace soon.